Alright, good day people, gents, YouTubers, whoever. I haven't been doing much updates because I lost my camera and my previous phone was kind of really sucky. I couldn't really give any really respectable videos. So anyways, got a new phone, so I'm going to continue trying to do some more updates. Now where I last left off, I was actually trying to resurrect some batteries. If I remember, let me see if I can prips round. Oh, yeah, they're covered in some old chairs at the moment. Actually, we're doing some cleanup at the backyard. But anyways, those batteries there are completely dead. No good. Couldn't get them back to life. So what I have been fortunate on is actually coming by some pallet trucks, battery operated pallet truck batteries that had a little bit of life in them. I mean, I think for my application, I shouldn't really be stressed them. I should be able to squeeze some more life out of it. And with that, I have now been able to get up my battery bank in conjunction with my grid tie inverters. So let's go through what we have here. Now below here is kind of my DC distribution and probably just one AC. One AC. This is AC out from the grid tie. The rest of this is all DC distribution. And the reason for so many switches, again, is to allow me to switch around where I want my solar panels and what to feed what. So what I now have, I have the ability to feed the panels from upstairs directly into the grid tie, ignoring all of the DC charging system for the battery. Like if the battery is down or I don't have any batteries, I can run that. But at present, I have this whole entire solar system being direct into the charge controller. So let's have a look at what's happening over here. Right up, thank you. So this is a 6 amp charge controller, and you can see I'm pegged out. I'm running 24 volt batteries and they're almost reached charge. I think it might be doing an equalize right now. Coming out from the panels, I have blatantly 1600 watts daily production since I started getting solar, and total from since the unit started up. I got power back on there. So that power, so this controls the power going over to here. Now let's have a look at what's happening on the grid tie. Focus. I can stay in that. There we go. Now what's happening here is that the grid tie is producing 300 watts, but there is a shortfall. The house is still importing 98 watts. Now usually the grid tie will ramp up and take this down to 6. That's kind of how it balances how much power it produces. It just maintains a 6 watt importation. But because if I give this grid tie free rein, it will suck down the power from the batteries. The batteries aren't big enough to have this running at free rein and doing all sorts of foolishness. Also, I need to do some rewiring the house so that this doesn't see the electric water heater. I mean, it is a solar water heater, but it has an electrical component that kicks in now and then. I don't really want this working with that. I would prefer the utility handle that big bill. Now the question is, how am I limiting this? Well, it's not done in here. The way how the power is limited on this is that the actual output load side from this goes through this DC to DC converter. Now in addition to the current limiting capacity, so this kind of limits the total power, it allows me to cheat because this is a 24 volt battery. But if you come over here, look at that, that's 57 volts. This grid tie only takes 48, the smallest 48 volt battery systems and up, which, you know, 48 is like kind of 50, blah blah blah. So what this allows me to do also is to bump up the output voltage so that it now becomes compatible with this. Yes, I know, I'm losing in efficiencies, but then I'm still ahead of the game because this is still extra power, and if I lose another 3 or 5%, that's still better than what I would have if I didn't have the system at all. I guess maybe when I start nitpicking I can do better. Excuse my shaking hands here. Also, there's another set of pallet truck batteries I plan to get, which would take this up from 28 volts to 48 volts, because this unit limits out at 60. So by doubling the voltage, I will inadvertently double the amount of power capacity I can produce from it, right? Or how much solar power I can push into this. So basically, if I get that other battery banks, I've now increased the capacity of here, and I will be able to not have to run this with on the limited modes, and I'll have a more compatible battery voltage going into here, and then therefore I'll have more power. But yeah, that's the system. For running 60 amps through these wires, they are slightly warm, so I know I'm getting a little power, but they're within reason. They're about 35 degrees C, which the wire rating is a 90 degrees C wire rating, so insulation rating, so I'm pretty good right there. The only glitch is I do know my battery breaker is kind of small, so because I'm pushing amps basically right at the limit, she does get a bit warm. I'm gonna upgrade that up to maybe about an 80 amp. Excuse my bad handwriting here. So this is the breaker for the load. So this sends this into the grid tie. So you have the battery, which only goes into the charge control, and here is the two solar panel breakers. So with this on, I can only, it feeds into the grid tie. With this on, feeds over into the charge control. Whoops. These two cannot be on simultaneously, so maybe I should change so to a full just transfer switch, but in time. This is actually connected to this here, and what I can do for really bad days when there's not enough sun, I'm planning to get a DC power supply so I can feed it in to the charge control, and I have it just charge up to maintain the batteries so that I don't have any bad charge cycle here and I have any phosphate. Yes, I know I'll be burning grid power to charge my batteries, but I'd rather extend the life of my batteries for 1 or 2 days worth of power charge and just severely damage them. I think it should work out. Also, it will also allow me to just to balance off that grid tie, to actually divert the solar panels directly into the grid tie, pull out all form of limiting on the grid tie inverter. It will see the high demand of AC power that will be used to be charging the batteries and take as much power from the solar panel to compensate. And if the sun does shortfall, if I have any shortage from the sun or the solar panels, the grid will compensate and still guarantee a good charge for the batteries. So yes, that's the system so far. I should give you guys posted.